Hello. Thank you for joining me. I am Stacy, and this is Rebirth Living. The topic for today is God is closer in your pain than in your comfort. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. If you notice on the thumbnail, there's a question mark after that. So it's asking a question. The question that it's asking is, like I said, is God closer to you in your pain or in your comfort? Here, I had heard this guy yesterday talk about in Luke 2 um, something that caught me that I didn't even think about, and it was a whole aha moment, and it was like, okay, that'll preach by itself. So let's get into Luke 2 verses 41 through 51. In those scriptures, Jesus is 12. So him and his parents went to every year. They went to the feast of the Passover every single year. And at that particular time, they're so used to going to the feast and leaving after the feast with all their kinfolks, all their acquaintances, Jesus with them as well. They went a whole day's journey without Jesus, not realizing that Jesus was not with them. As soon as they found out Jesus was not with them, they trekked back to Jerusalem, and it took them 3 days to find him in the temple. So they went about their journey. They're used to every year going to the Feast of Passovers and leaving with everybody and making it home. They did not stop to think that Jesus was not with them because they were comfortable with going to the feast, going home. They was comfortable knowing that Jesus was with them without them checking to see if Jesus was there. How that works in our world. We're so comfortable going in our everyday life, every day going through stuff that when stuff is good, we don't see if Jesus is with us. We don't take the time to actually we don't take the time in our comfort to praise God like we should be praising God because we're comfortable. We're so situated in our daily, everything is going great. But as soon as we have pain or going through something, we are on God's speed dial every day. We're like calling God, what you doing? What you doing in our life right now? What's going on? I need you. This is happening. That's happening every single day. So, like for instance, Job. We went, 40 some odd chapters with Job going through everything that Job went through and him seeking God, trying to figure out why is God putting him through this and everything. As soon as he got better, that was it. We don't know what happened to him after that. I could be wrong. Tell me in the comments. We don't know what happened to Job after that. When editors update, editor meaning my husband, since he edits my videos, he made a point that with Job, actually, we do know what happened with Job because in the first verse of Job, as well as in the eighth verse of Job, God is explaining that Job is upright no matter the situation, that he fears God and whatnot. So we technically know prior to what happened in Job 1 and after the end of Job. We know Job was upstanding and he always feared God and he always had God's back no matter the situation. So we know after Job got better that he was obviously faithful and there with Job. So my husband wanted to make sure that I put that in. So we do know what happened with Job. He continued to follow God afterwards. Okay, as you were, continue. When Paul had, I think it was Paul, that had that in his hip, and he was asking God to take it away from him, the pain of that And God was telling him that no, I am with you when you are weak. I make you stronger. So therefore, I'm telling you, it's not God that's with us during our pain more than our comfort. It's the opposite. We are with God more when we are sitting here going through stuff than we are when we are comfortable. I can totally testify to that. Is in these last 3 months where we have been struggling and going through, I have my relationship with God has increased in ways that I cannot honestly tell you in years prior that they've been this thick, this thick. I have I've seeked God more. I've been in prayer more. I even got my praise shout back in the midst of this storm that we've been going through. And I'm laughing because it's funny how, yes, we seek God more through our pain. But the point of it is we should seek God equally in our pain and in our comfort, because God is there both times and in both situations. It is up to us to seek him in all situations, not just seek him when we're in pain, not just to seek him when we're going through, but to seek him when we're in comfort also, because we need to thank him for the provision, for the comfort, for everything that he continues to do in our lives. So if you are sitting here going through, understand, yes, God is indeed closer to you in your pain because you're closer to him. You're seeking him more while you're going through your pain. Understand, again, I say, seek him in the pain and in the comfort, because he wants to be with you at all times. Your relationship with God, when you are in a regular relationship, are you just trying to be with them when you're having a good time? You're not leaving them in the good time and in the bad time. You're not choosing one to decide which one you want to be with them on. You want to be with them both times, the good and the bad. Then treat God the same way. He wants to be with you in your good and the bad. So we need to be able to understand we need to be with God in the good and the bad. We need to be able to glorify his name when things are great. We need to be able to glorify his name when things are bad. We need to be able to glorify his name in all situations, whether it's big or small. We need God in our life no matter what the situation is. We don't need to make it where we don't need to make it where God feels like we only call him when we need something. We need God in all situations. All situations. So let's make it a habit. Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a faith move that we are trusting God in all situations. We are seeking him in all situations, not just in our pain. So, is God with us, closer to us in our pain than in our comfort? That's the question you need to ask yourself. How often are you seeking God? Are you only seeking God when you're going through pain, or are you seeking God in the good and in the bad? That's a whole thing by itself. Let's make it normal to seek God in the good and in the bad. So he's with you through your pain and in your comfort, because you're seeking him in both. Thank you for joining me today. I this it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind that how just how that curled over with Jesus's parents, where they were so used to him being with them that they didn't look for him, and how we don't look for God when we're comfortable. That was such an aha moment. Thank you again for joining me. I will definitely see you on the next one. You have a blessed day, and if you don't you go messing up nobody else's day, like Tab would say.